dong.
Dong.
All in.
Let's go, boys. Episode 204, UFC Seattle, and a scrappy fight night card, but honestly one that is definitely better than last week and probably better than the pay-per-view that was 2 weeks ago. It's a low-key stacked card coming from Seattle, but before we break anything down, shout out to our latest sub, John Barillas. Appreciate you grilling chilling with Meat Boy MMA. If you've been with us for a while, we've been grilling steaks since 2020, so appreciate everyone who has been along the way. If you're new here, grill, slap, scribe, DIY, locks, and laps, but last week, Meat Boy, it was UFC Robo Cannon. I predicted myself would go 1-5, and I usurped my expectations by going a wonderful 2-4. AKA, your boy is still getting smoked in 2025, but you went 2-4 also. You called Gabriel Bonfim, and one that I wanted to talk about a little bit, you called Petrosky. What did you make of the victory for your boy Andre Petrosky as a plus 205 dog over Vieira, who most people, myself included, thought would steamroll your boy? What did you think about that one?
Yeah, last weekend's card wasn't the best, to be honest. But yeah, no, Vieira looked good, wasn't the best. I don't know, not much on that one.
How do you think Petrosky fares? I mean, he called out Bo Nickal, so do you think that if he gets that fight, which who knows if he does, but if he does, how do you think he fares in that contest? Is he ready for a guy like Bo Nickal? Is Bo Nickal ready for a guy like Petrosky?
Man, Petrosky, Bo Nickal. I mean, what we saw, it's like Rodolfo Vieira. Like, of course, I knew he was gonna beat him, but like, it's not that impressive on the fighting style. It's like, do we really think he's gonna beat Bo Nickal? Absolutely! Are you kidding me, dude? You see how great he looked last weekend, dude. Andre Petrosky is going to absolutely ragdoll Bo Nickal. Bo Nickal's not gonna know what to do. He's gonna keep it on the feet, and he's gonna knock Bo Nickal out 100%.
Yeah, you heard it here first. Monday, February 17th, Meat is taking Bo Nickal to get smoked by Petrosky, but we'll see how that one fares. Obviously, Vieira's takedown offense not quite as sufficient as Bo Nickal, but that's a fun fight. We got to touch on the MEATLOCK. Obviously, we were both pretty bullish on the RoboCop. He got absolutely smoked. He looked great in the first round, and it was about 2 minutes into the second round when I think it was DC posed the question. He said, guys, he's not getting tired out there, is he? And Paul Felder, I think, was like, you better not be getting tired. And as soon as he uttered that, RoboCop's hands were down. He was deflated, seemingly malfunctioned by the end of round 2, and ultimately was asleep on the canvas by round 3. So what'd you make of the L of a MEATLOCK? Is Robo Cannon just a flash in the pan, or is Jared Cannonier, even at 40, somehow back?
Man, I think Robo Cannon is an absolute dud, a full-fledged duck fart. Like, come on, dude. You gotta have a gas tank. And also, like, if you're losing, why? Like, he has such an insane grappling pedigree that he could have submitted him at any second, but he doesn't want to. I think ever since the third eye was open on his forehead, ever since they sewed it shut, it's like he forgot a part of his brain on how to grapple because he just slugfest 2003. He's down to just lose every time like that. So he needs to get his stuff straight. He needs to mix it up, takedowns and punching. But more than anything, he needs to fix that gas tank. That's kind of 2 times we've seen it, and it just did not settle right for me.
Yeah, a lot of great points. Third eye blind for sure. Semi-charmed kind of life, and I like how you adjusted the nomenclature from Robo Cannon, from RoboCop to just now the RoboCan. I like what you did there, and a couple other interesting fights that stood out. And again, if you're trying to get straight to the locks, head to the timestamp, head to the comments. You'll see the timestamps right away. But Edmund Shabazian finally got a first-round finish over the Mindless Hulk. That was one I did call. You took Mindless Hulk, but he was truly awful. And then I want to touch on the co-meet. It was Yusuf Zalal versus Calvin Kattar. Calvin Kattar was essentially, his team was saying this was easy money. This was the fight he needs to get back on track. Yusuf Zalal wasn't ready for this level, but the fight really wasn't even competitive. Yusuf Zalal truly dominated him and mystified Calvin Kattar. Calvin just couldn't get a rhythm going, couldn't really find Zalal throughout the entire contest. What'd you make out of that fight, and is Yusuf Zalal going to challenge for a belt this year or next?
Yeah, that's a good question, and I think Yusuf Zalal could be. He's been looking pretty dang decent. He's definitely been leveling up every time. So I feel like he really should be getting a top 5 guy next. I mean, he's kind of due. He's right there for it, and he's looking better and better every time we see him go out there. So he's well deserved, and I'm excited to see where he can take this. Is he legit, or is he like the Dragon, where when the push comes to shove, he absolutely fumbles and craps the bag?
Yeah, great point. I mean, this fight was in the Apex, right, against Calvin Kattar. So, you put him in a co-meet, maybe in Brazil, see what happens. Does he fumble the bag like the Dragon did, or is he just that good? I mean, like you said, he's getting better and better, and the dude's pretty young. He's like 27, 28, so sky still is the limit for the homie Yusuf Zalal. But UFC Seattle, Meepo, you ready to swap us through?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Let's get this one going. This card is actually sick.
Yeah, it's actually sick. Finally, February has been duster after duster, and this one's going to be fun. So, UC Seattle, UC the Tex, it's another absolute meatlock. We're trying to get back on track from the L of a RoboCam that was last week, and we think Fluffy Hernandez is the one to do it. We know this is a rematch. The first fight went Fluffy's way. It was a unanimous decision all the way back in 2018, and it was for the LFA Middleweight Championship belt. And since then, Fluffy has really only picked up a couple losses. Brendan Allen, you could say the same. I mean, Brendan Allen went on a 7 or 8 fight win streak and just got derailed most recently against Imavov, but that was a fight where he fought all 5 rounds, and Brendan Allen is always kind of right there, but when he's facing dudes that are slightly better than him, he tends to walk away with the L. I mean, it happened against Imavov, happened against Chris Curtis, happened against Sean Strickland, and we think it's going to happen against Fluffy and happen to him again, because Fluffy is also a dude who's been getting noticeably better every single time he fights, and he's on a beautiful 6-fight win streak and has gotten 5 out of 6 finishes, including 2 performance of the night finishes. Most recently against Michel Pajeda in an easy light work, just dominant start to finish affair, and then the fight before that he was able to sleep Roman Kopylov, who is a guy who doesn't get finished at all. So we like Fluffy in this meatlock. The odds aren't great. In this meatlock, however, do you think it's going to be another unanimous decision victory for the homie Fluffy, or is he going for a finish against Brendan Allen in this one?
I think this is gonna be easy light work for Fluffy. Brennan Allen, it seems right now he's trying to overcome all adversity known to Mon, but this one is just one mountain too steep for him to climb, because I think Fluffy's in a different caliber right now. He's absolutely peaking. The momentum's looking great. While I mean, Brendan Allen, I would have thought that he would beat the brakes off Imavov, but Imavov, he just beat him, then Izzy. So, like, I don't know, maybe Imavov is that next guy. I didn't really see it. I thought Brendan Allen was better than that, but it was almost like it seemed like Brendan Allen might have peaked, and we're just slowly seeing a downtick, or he's kind of capped out, while Fluffy just keeps proving he's better and better every time. It's always mind blowing and impressive to see. I think this is gonna be one of those body sessions that are very impressive by Fluffy, and we're gonna go, oh, makes sense.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Low key, the lowest key, I think that Fluffy is going to just straight up dominate this contest, and we have a lot of respect for All In, right? Like you'll be hard pressed to see us pick against Brendan Allen that often, but we both just think Fluffy is just kind of that next level, especially at this division, and Tapology is seeing it the same way. The odds are reflecting what the casuals over at Tapology are seeing. 85% is going with Fluffy, only 15 going with Brendan Allen. It's a lot of beige on both sides though, so if this is the meatlock, are you bullish on a finish? Is it a decision for Fluffy? How does this fight play out? Is it early or is it often?
I think it's often, but also I think it's early. I think it's gonna be like second round perhaps. Easy light work by Fluffy.
Yeah, let us know in the comments how you think this fight plays out. First of all, do you agree with the meatlock? Do you think Fluffy gets this one done? And if so, is it by a grind him out decision, or is he picking up a early finish like Meat is predicting? It's minus 278. We're keeping it simple, throwing down an easy 278 to net 100 for Fluffy. I'm ultimately going to go with a decision. I can see this fight playing out similarly to their first affair, but it would not surprise me if Fluffy goes out here dead set on getting a finish and closing the book on this all-in chapter, because a lot of people are coming into this one saying that Brendan Allen has made more improvements since they last fought than Fluffy has, but I think the odds, the tapology, and obviously what we're suggesting over here is spinning a different tune. So let's go Fluffy. I'll go by decision. It's a meatlock for a reason, though, and we think it's going to be light work. Any last thoughts on the meatlock?
No, I think it is going to be light work, but I think it's going to happen very early, but also often. But yeah, we'll switch it to the next one now.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Let us know if you agree and swap us through, me boy, because this one is going to be interesting. It's your boy Javid Bashrat versus my boy Ricky Simone, but unfortunately for Ricky, it's been pretty rough. This dude hasn't won since the summer of 2022, and he's lost three straight and really hasn't even been competitive in those three contests. So it's a tough pill to swallow for the Ricky Simone bag holders, but at plus 240, the odds makers are saying, hey, we don't think that you're plus 500, plus 600 Calvin Cater style territory yet, but we're still not going to give you any love. Even against a guy in the Rat who, at 14-1-1, the record looks amazing, but if you dissect it a little bit deeper, this guy hasn't won in over 2 years either, because he just fought in March of last year, got smoked by Ayman Zahabi, and the fight before that was a no contest, meaning his last victory was January 14th, 2023, over Mateus Mendonça, who is truly awful. So you don't know what you're going to get from the Rat. You don't know what you're going to get from Ricky Simone, who's lost three straight. What are your thoughts on this matchup? Do you think that Ricky Simone can get back on track and can take out Javid Basharat, or is Basharat that good and Ricky Simone is that done?
Honestly, Ricky Simone might be that done. It's actually sad to say that because there was a point where it was like, dude, he beat Marab. He ragdolled a bunch of other hype beasts. Like, he was potentially that guy. Chael Sonnen was even backing him. And he kind of fumbled the bag, and it seems that he peaked at that time. And it's been just kind of all downhill. But, like, also, you can say the same thing with Javid. Like the Rat just is not looking like the Rat used to look, I feel like. But man, so torn on this one. But I think I gotta take the Rat. But I could totally see Ricky overpowering him and overstrengthening him in this bout. But I'm gonna lean the Rat just slightly.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting, right? Because we haven't really seen Basharat struggle in the UFC fights against wrestlers. I mean, when he fought Tony Gravely, he really made pretty light work of that, and we know Tony is a pretty solid wrestler himself. So I'm curious to see if Ricky will be able to impose his will, so to speak, dominate him via that grappling slash wrestling heavy attack. But I don't know, Basharat hasn't struggled with it too much, and we'll see if he does in this one. But I like how you said, Ricky Simone already peaked, which is crazy because I don't think there's any other fighter on this roster, and there's probably 700 fighters that you can say peaked in their UFC debut. Because that fight against Marab was literally his UFC debut. He gets that last second YOLO finish. It was fight of the night. It was razor thin before Marab passed out and ultimately took the L. But it was his debut, and basically since then it's been pretty rough. Although he did go on that nice 5-fight win streak, but when you inspect the wins, it's nothing great, right? Ray Borg, not good. Boom Kelleher has 30 losses. Asunciao, 50 years old. Jack Shore, we saw how that ended. So a lot of questionable W's for Ricky Simone, and makes you question the hype that he once had. But in this one, Meat Boy, I've been fading the Basharats. I've been fading the Bond Themes. I'm not sold on any of these bros, so I'm taking Ricky Simone to find a way to get back on track, find a way to get some takedowns, find a way to rediscover that sauce that he once had, because this was a dude, like you said, who had Chael Sonnen's endorsement. He seemed to be on a fast track to a title, and then it all just sort of went sideways when Uriah Faber slept him in 45 seconds, despite being 45. So I like Ricky in this one. I think this is going to be a decision for him. If you're taking the Snow Leopard, is he going to go out there and finish Ricky Simone, or similar to Ricky's last two losses, will he survive the entire time but get dominated throughout?
I think he's gonna get submitted, maybe even KO'd, like first, second round. I think it's gonna happen real quick. The longer the fight goes, I think it will edge out in Ricky's favor. The shorter the fight goes, obviously that's because he got knocked out. So this is gonna be a closer fight than the odds makers say, in my opinion. I'm actually most excited for this fight. This is a sweet fight.
Yeah, this fight is sweet for sure. He's got Javid Bastard. I'm going to take Ricky Simone by decision. Let us know in the comments if Ricky should be minus or plus 540 instead of plus 240, and I'm just buying the hype of yesteryear. Or is he going to find a way to get back on track? Let us know, but swap us through, me boy, because the Snow Leopard, obviously your boy, but this is one with your absolute boy, Iwan Kute Laba, taking on Ebo Aslan, and three-letter fighters both start with the letter I. Are you taking the Hulk in this one over the hypebeast Ebo, or have you been a little bit discouraged by Ebo's wins, knowing that they've been against guys like Paulo Renato Jr., Anton Turkalj, Rafael Cerqueda? Like, these are pretty bad fighters. So are you sold that this guy's the next big thing at light heavy, or is Ewan coming to derail another hype train?
Yeah, this could be absolute Hulk smash. Honestly, I think it is going to be absolute Hulk freaking smash. The Hulk is back, baby. This is going to back in the win column. The hype train, this fake, UFC fighter, he's about to go to Power Slap and probably go over there. But I think Ian Cutelaba is here to stay. If he loses this, they should cut him.
If Ewan loses, he should be cut. Is that what we're saying?
Yes.
Yeah, I feel that for sure. I mean, it just all depends on how good or how bad the last Ottoman truly is, because some people are really sold, Meepo. I mean, they think that this guy is the second coming in this division and is ready to inject new life in what is somewhat a lifeless division. I don't know, though. I'm kind of with you. I haven't been too sold yet just because of the strength of opponents, right? I mean, a lot of bad fighters is who this guy has been going through. I mean, I know he avenged the loss to Anton Turkalj, but he lost to him in 2020, and some of his wins, I mean, Georgi Kubijashvili, Amilcar Alves, Felix Polianiditis, Ivan Vicic, pretty bad fighters. So Ewan to me is definitely a step up. And if you look at Ewan's fights, I mean, this dude's literally fought everyone. Ankalaev twice, Glover, Ryan Spann, Johnny Walker. Yes, he lost to all those fighters, but he's not going to be coming in here mystified and intimidated by Ebo Aslan. And I think Ebo's presence kind of gets a lot of guys spooked before a fight even begins. So if you're unable to spook Ewan, then I can see Cutelaba being able to find a way to get this one done. So I'm gonna roll with you. I'm gonna take Cutelaba. Do you think he's gonna get a finish in this one and really sort of dispel this hype beast, or might the fight be close, but ultimately you edge Ewan for the decision?
Yeah, I don't know. The fight definitely could be close. We've seen questionable stuff from Ewan, but I don't know. I think this is a levels test for this guy, the hype train, and I'm not sold until he does more. So if he absolutely decimates Ewan, then hey, I'll join the hype train of this dead division. But until then, I gotta go with E1 because, like you said, he's got more experience. He's fought the best of the best. Nothing really should surprise him. So like I think this is one of those like he's probably gonna lose, but like when you think about it, it's like oh that makes sense. He's got so much more experience. He's fought people way better, so he should really win this because he is a decent. He's like a GM3 kind of guy.
Yeah, and the odds start at basically a pick 'em. They've slightly expanded a little bit in Ebo's favor, but even with a hype beast that has this much attention in Ebo, I mean, minus 170, the odds makers are still saying, hey, there is still some life for Cutelaba. So if the odds makers are suggesting, a little bit of trepidation on this hype beast, then to me, this should be a coin flip. And with that, let's roll with the more experienced fighter. But Tapology's fading us, people. 85% is rolling with Ebo. They love a solid hype train, and only 15% going with E1. I like E1 to get the decision in this one. Officially, are you going decision or finish?
I'm gonna go finish second or third round.
Let us know if we're missing out on the Ebo hype train and Lion Witch in the Wardrobe. Aslan is going to easily smoke Cutelaba, but swap us through me, boy, because this one is a fight that I'm glad that the UFC was able to put together. Rob Font gets his last ditch opponent. Originally, he was supposed to fight someone else. In steps Gene Matsumoto, who at minus 195 is a serious undefeated prospect, a guy who is 2-0 in the UFC and has picked up nice wins over Dan Argueta and most recently Brad Katona. And we know he's a very hyped up Brazilian prospect. He's extremely strong, extremely powerful, very durable, and is a very well-rounded fighter. But he's taking on Rob Font, who at 21-8 really just woke up a lot of people last time he fought, myself included, when he absolutely smoked Kyler Phillips. It was start to finish. He was like a plus 400 dog, and he really reminded a lot of people that if you're not in the top 5, top 7 of this division, then Rob Font is going to put you in your place, similar to how he did Adrian Yanez, similar to how he did Cody Garbrandt. I mean, this is a dude who loves to just stiff arm guys that aren't on his level. So in this fight, he's a plus 155 dog, so the odds are somewhat reflective of the fight we just broke down, Ebo versus Ewan. Do you like Gene Matsumoto at this plus or at this 140-pound catch weight to absolutely smoke Rob Font and usher in this new era of UFC fighters at 135? Or is Rob Font ready to dispatch of another hype beast in Gene Matsumoto?
Yeah, that's a good question, and this kid might be the real deal, but it's so hard for me to pick against Fabrant right now. Just versus this kid, kind of untested. He seems very solid, but like I don't know, he could be the Adrian Yanez 2.0, and Fabrant shows like, hey, I am the RDA of the division type vibe thing. So I'm gonna have to go with the veteran once again until the young chap can prove himself.
Yeah, I feel that, and Matsumoto is for sure a young chap. He's only 25 years old and is undefeated, but clearly hasn't fought the level of competition that Fabrant has. And this one's interesting, me boy, because although Fabrant is a slight dog around plus 150, plus 170 ish, Tapology is slightly leaning in his favor, and it's basically based on both sides. So Tapology 52% going with Rob Font, 48 for Gene. Ultimately, if you're taking Rob Font, do you agree that decision is most likely, or any chance Rob Font goes out there and picks up a finish? And if he does get a finish, would it be early or late?
If he gets a finish, I would say it's probably later, to be honest. Fabrant isn't the most, powerful person. He did put Giannis down pretty quick, but I think that was almost a fluke. I think it would be a decision most likely for Fabrant. The other guy I think needs to beat him with a knockout or a submission.
Yeah, I kind of feel that. I think that Gene Matsumoto, he's kind of a decision machine, but he does have those insane finishes on the ground. I mean, that mounted guillotine that he pulled off against Basillo over in LFA was absolutely beautiful. But Rob Font is no slouch, and he really showed Kyler Phillips that if you aren't coming super well rounded, then he's going to beat you. So I'm with you, me boy. I'm going to roll with Rob Font in this one. I like him to probably get a decision, but if this kid Gene Matsumoto comes through and just ragdoll steamrolls Rob Font, then I think this guy will be a serious player in this division. And the only thing that kind of worries me is the fact that this fight is at that 140-pound catch weight, because we know Gene Matsumoto as a guy who cuts a lot of weight. He really has to struggle to get down at 135. So now he's going to have the 5 extra pounds to work with. I wonder if he will be that much stronger than Rob Font and thusly that much able to secure the takedowns that we know he'll be gunning for. But I'm going to hope that Rob Font can stuff those, really mix it up with the jabs, and hopefully he can get a late, third round finish. You mentioned that if he gets a finish, it would probably be late. I agree with that because Rob Font's not going to go out there and just switch your lights off, but he might land 200 punches on you, and if you're gassed out, shooting that air, missing all these takedowns, then I can see Rob Font really punishing with perhaps a TKO in that third round. So let's go Rob Font. Let's go with the old vet. Any last thoughts on this 140-pound catchweight?
No, this is a fun fight. This card is honestly pretty dope.
Yeah, this card is dope, and swap us through me, boy, because it's another Brazilian hype beast, but one that I think you and I have both been very impressed with. It's Gene Silva, the fighting nerd, who is 3-0. He's gotten finish after finish after finish, whether it's at a catchweight, whether it's at 145, whether it's most recently at 155 against Drew Dober when he picked up the fight of the night finish over the Giga Chad himself, Drew Dober. So Gene Silva's been on an absolute tear, and he's taking on the gun, Melsik Bagdasarian, who is truly unlikable, but you got to give him some credit. I mean, he came and got absolutely smoked by Kulabau and took 6 months off, came back, guns blazing against Tucker Lutz, and got a beautiful decision over him. But that was at this point almost 2 years ago. The guy's been sidelined for a while, whereas Gene Silva fought 3 times in 2024 alone. So, what do you make out of this contest? Are you surprised at all that Melsik Bagdasarian is a plus 425 dog against the minus 575 that is Gene Silva? And if so, do you think Melsik has any life, or is this another easy light work study session for the nerd?
Yeah, I think this is an easy light work study session for the nerd, to be honest. I think the nerd just been looking so good. I mean, after what he did to my boy Dober, I was just sold. It's like, dang, I don't want to like this guy because he did that to my boy Dober, but he's good. Like, so you gotta respect where respect is due, and this kid is no joke. I think he's gonna absolute steamroll for Vol. This guy. I think it's gonna be easy light work early and often. I don't know if it gets past second round.
Yeah, I feel you on that one, and it's crazy to see John Silva have so much success at 155 against a fringe top 15 guy and essentially say, hey, that was fun, but I'm going to go back down to 145 where I've been most comfortable. So this is a guy who is seemingly a tweener between 45 and 55, but can have success in both divisions versus the Kevin Lees of the world who can't have success in either. But Tapology is overwhelmingly bullish on Gene Silva. 97% is taking the nerd, mostly all brown for the KO. So if you're taking Gene Silva in this one, is Melsa going to go out there and just get slept in the first round?
Yeah, I think he does get slept in the first round early and often, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going out and getting slept by Kulabau, and I know he was having some success in that contest before ultimately getting his back taken and his neck choked, but if you're going out there and getting finished by Kulabau, then I don't see a world where he survives 15 minutes with John Silva, so I'm going to take Silva in this one. Ultimately, I'm going to go second round finish. Whether it's TKO or submission, I'm not quite sure, but I kind of like to see what the submission numbers look like because if all Tapology is bullish on a KO for Silva, then maybe you'll be getting plus 300, plus 350-ish for the submission. And we know Gene Silva is a guy who can finish you down there. I mean, I know he only has the 2 submission victories to his name thus far, but when you're facing Melsik Bagdasaryan, who has a last name that might suggest he can wrestle but has zero wrestling skills, then I think a submission might be in the pipeline. So I'll go second round Silva submission. Your official take is
Yeah, I think it's gonna be first, early second round finish KO.
early second round, finish KO for the homie Gene Silva. Let us know if we're sleeping on the gun or if there are no bullets left in that chamber. But swap us through, Meat Boy, because it's the meat event. It's one that I'm very curious to get your perspective on because I know it's two dudes that you have a lot of respect for and see as high level fighters. But I want to know who you think is the higher level fighter because Henry Cejudo is a plus 235 dog despite being the Olympic champ, despite being the double champ in the UFC, and despite being most likely a Hall of Famer, against a guy in Song Yadong who was on a beautiful win streak, but really just got exposed against Peter Yan in a fight that it was competitive, surely, but he definitely lost all 3 rounds, and it wasn't a great outcome for him because that was the one fight away from a belt fight, and he really fumbled the bag. So in this one against Triple C, who has lost 2 straight, but they were close, right? Aljo was for the belt. Split decision. Some thought he won, and then he did go the distance against Marab, but that fight wasn't close at all. So in this contest, both these dudes coming in off L's. It's a legend versus a surging hype beast, but one who has got the momentum derailed the most recently. Are you taking Triple C to end Song Yadong, or is the dog going to get this one done?
Honestly, everyone's got the Donger taking this one. It's pretty crazy, and the Donger, he's younger. He might be even faster. But just like Peter Yan, exposed him, I think Triple C will too. Triple C is a multi-champ. He knows how to win. He knows what it takes to win. And I think the Donger's a little too wild. He needs to tone it down a little bit, be more, careful with his shots and his attacks and all that. Versus Powerhouse, super quick. And also, the Dongs kind of showed his speed is unmatchable the first round or so, but then it starts to die down pretty quick. So Henry Cejudo keeps a very consistent, clean game, and I think Henry's gonna just show why he is the Triple C, and I think he's gonna get it done.
Yeah, good stuff. I mean, Tapology is taking Song Yadong. It's pretty close somewhat, I guess. 65% taking Song Yadong, 35% going Triple C. You're going Triple C, the OG. If you are picking him to get this one done over the Kung Fu Kid, Song Yadong, do you think he picks up a finish? Does this fight go all 5 rounds, but perhaps Song gasses in the third and then Triple C takes over, similar to how Marab did against Umar? How do you see this one playing out if you are taking the pretty decent dog in Triple C?
Yeah, no, I think you kind of hit it right there. Where I think Triple C's path to victory is going to be via decision, 100%. He's going to have to go to third round, gas him out. I think that first round is going to be very scary to watch. Like the Donger might knock out Henry Cejudo first round, but the longer the fight goes, it's going to favor in Henry, and the speed and power of the Donger I think will fade big time. and I just don't know if the Donger is gonna be able to stop Henry's wrestling. That's me assuming that Henry's leveled up and become the wrestler he was, or even better. Probably a pipe dream, but I gotta see the Dong get through a top 3, top 5 guy before I ride the hype, or I'm gonna start thinking he wins top 5 fights because he hasn't proven that yet.
Yeah, that's fair because I mean Song Yadong has some good wins, right? But hasn't really beat those top 5 guys, right? I mean, I think his best win is probably Cheeto Vera, and he put up fight of the night in that one. But if that's your best win, I mean, he lost to Sandhagen, lost to Peter Yan, lost to Kyler Phillips, although that was a controversial one. He does need that statement victory, and Cejudo in a meat event at UFC Seattle would for sure be the victory he needs, but. I like your thinking in that Cejudo can get this one done. I'm rooting for Cejudo because I think that if he does get this done, he probably calls out Sugar Sean, and then we finally have a matchup for Sugar Sean because he's kind of just been sort of hanging out in the abyss. And I think that the fight against Triple C is really the only one that makes a lot of sense if Triple C can get Song Yadong out of the way. But I don't know, Meat Boy. I do see a world where the Donger gasses late in this fight, but I think that Song Yadong is going to decisively win the first 3 rounds. He's then going to be gassed and will likely lose rounds 4 and 5. But barring any sort of judging sketchiness, if Song can clearly win all 3 of those first rounds, I see him emerging with a decision victory in this one. So I'm going to take the Donger. I think that you're spot on with the analysis in that he probably will gas. I'm just hopeful that he can last 15 minutes, clearly win the first 3, and then survive the last 10. But deep down, rooting for Triple C because I'm trying to see Triple C versus Sugar Sean. Do you think that matchup makes sense?
Yeah, I would love to see that. I really hope Triple C versus Sugar Sean happens, because it would be funny fight.
Yeah, it'd be funny. It would be fun. I mean, that's their trash talk would just be top notch. I just think back to when Sean was doing that post fight interview and Henry Cejudo. It was like almost like an office style filmography. Sugar Sean's like, this guy is so cringe, and I think it'd be a lot of fun to watch those guys go at it in the press and in the octagon. But nonetheless, Meat Boy, UFC Seattle, we broke down 6. Last week I suggested I'd go 1 and 5. I went a resounding 2 and 4. This week I'm likely going 0 and 6. How about you?
Yeah, 0 and 6. I hope neither one of us go that, but honestly in this one, I'm feeling a 5 and 1. I'm feeling good on this one.
5 and 1 for meat, 0 and 6 for your boy, but somehow the MEATLOCK will cash. Don't do the math on that one. But any last thoughts on UFC Seattle, meat boy?
No, it's a fun fight, great fight card. Finally, some bangers, some new hype beasts. Excited to see who the future is or who's an absolute Doster Dinkelman. But yeah, this will be a fun one.
Buster Dinkelman.